To make a diaper cover that is like a flip diaper cover that has an opening on the inside and using FOE fold over elastic, the first thing I did is cut out my full piece. This is going to be my outside with the printed pull, and I have already gone ahead and added my snaps, and I made sure to back my snaps with a piece of scrap pull because you should never use snaps through just one layer. And then I also cut out two pieces of just plain white. These are going to be my inside flaps. I just took my pattern, and where the elastic marking is, that's where my cut is, and so I just cut this piece that's just the top all the way down to the elastic marking. And then same thing with the bottom, where the elastic is going to start, or should start in my pattern. That's where I stopped and cut my other little piece. This saves a lot of pull because you don't have to cut any of the middle pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to pin them just like I'm going to sew them. So I have the right sides out, just like I want the finished product to be. And I don't like pinning pull, so I use little clippies. That way I don't have to put a whole bunch of holes in it. Okay, now that my pieces are pinned, I am going to just sew these together so that they don't shift while I'm adding the fold over elastic. I'm just using a regular straight stitch, just sewing it real close to the edge. My fold over elastic is going to hide this anyway. So that was all the way across the top. The two pieces are sewn together, and now I gotta do the bottom. Okay, now my side elastic pieces are already marked because that's where I cut these two flaps. So I know that when I get to the end of one flap, I'm gonna need to start pulling that fold over elastic super tight until I get to the other mark. But my back elastic does need to be marked so that I know when to start pulling tight. So let me mark that. Okay, and as far as a place to start your elastic, I would recommend starting near the front because you're going to have to end there, and it ends up being a little bumpy, and you don't want it in a place that's going to be seen. Okay, here I have my fold over elastic. This elastic is actually from Joann's, and they have it by the roll, and it's got a real nice crease down the middle so that it's easy for you to fold over, and it's real nice and soft on one side, and then on the inside looks like regular elastic. So you'll know which is the outside and which is the inside. And it doesn't matter if you sew this whichever way is facing up, really doesn't matter. I'm going to sew with my outside facing up, and I am going to start here at the top right hand corner. Just kind of pick a place to start, it really doesn't matter. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to fold it over and tuck the fabric into the fold, and you're going to sew with a zigzag stitch. So on my machine, that is, the number 7 is the regular zigzag stitch, but I don't want that. I want the 3-step zigzag that's meant for elastic. So in my machine, that's this one with the little breaks in it, the number 8. So fold your elastic, tuck the fabric into it, and when that needle is in that left position, you want it to be as close to the edge of the FOE as you can so that it doesn't lift up and curl. And you are not going to pull this yet because we don't want this part to act like elastic. It's just going to act like a binding right here. If you have a needle down function on your machine, now is the time to use it. We're going to go real slow. Just very slowly tucking the fabric in around the corner. Stopping often, pivot, readjust. This is not a race. We're getting close to the part where I need to start pulling, where my little flap ends, but not yet. Okay. I am to the end of my flap. I can see it through the pull because it's kind of see-through. So I'm still doing my 3-step zigzag, but I'm going to grab this FOE and I'm going to pull this sucker as hard as you can. Do not be gentle with this, because if you're gentle, you're not going to get a good stretch, which means you're not going to get a good fit. You need to pull this hard. Tuck your fabric in, pinch it with your finger, hold it, and hold it tight. Again, always stop with the needle down, otherwise your fabric's going to flop out. I've tucked it under with my finger, I'm holding it in place, fold it over, and pull. Okay, I can stop pulling now because I have reached the other side where I can see my flap starts. So I'm going to stop pulling, but you still just lay it in. My thread has run out, so I'm going to have to pause, rethread, and start back over.